Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, I am thrilled to guide you through a process that honestly feels a little bit like digital alchemy. We're going to take raw, totally disjointed data logs and transform them into a crystal clear, analyzable process mining model right inside Power Automate. If you've ever stared blankly at a messy spreadsheet and wondered how on earth to extract actual, tangible business value from it, you are in the exact right place. We are going to turn all that confusion into pure clarity.
Let's start with the ultimate headache, right? You have these messy, completely siloed datasets, but you desperately need one cohesive view to actually uncover your process insights. I mean, data rarely lives in just one perfect, beautiful file, does it? You might have one spreadsheet for your event logs detailing exactly what happened, and then another totally separate spreadsheet for your attribute details explaining who or what was actually involved. So the core challenge we are tackling today is how to accurately map that data chaos into a unified, easy-to-read process. Now, before we even touch the data, we have to talk about our holy trinity. Process mining strictly requires three essential fields to function properly. You absolutely must have a case ID, an activity, and an event start, or timestamp. Why are these so critical? Well, without a case ID, we can't track an individual item. Without an activity, we literally don't know what step was taken. And without a timestamp, we have absolutely no chronological flow. So definitely keep these three fields in the back of your mind. They are the absolute foundation of everything we're about to build. Okay, so here's our roadmap for solving this puzzle. We're going to prepare our raw data, load the data sets, merge them together in Power Query, and then finally map everything out for our analysis. All right, let's dive right into section 1, preparing your raw data, moving from pipe delimited chaos to nice, clean CSVs. We've got 4 macro steps to tackle here. In our scenario, we're dealing with 2 specific Excel datasets related to our combined AP logs. First, we open them up. Then, we use Excel's built-in tools to format them, figure out exactly how they relate to each other, and finally save them as standardized CSV files so they're totally prepped for the engine. You know the drill. This is the harsh reality of raw data. All the information for a single row is just crammed into one cell, usually separated by a vertical bar or pipe character. It's a completely unreadable mess. But thankfully, by jumping to the Data tab, hitting Text to Columns, and choosing Other with that vertical bar as our delimiter, boom, we instantly transform that chaos into beautifully clean, structured columns. We'll just run this precise extraction on both of our files to get them completely prepped. Now here's where it gets fun. Because we have 2 separate files, we really need a common thread, an interlocking puzzle piece to stitch them together. Looking closely at our newly cleaned columns, we find our golden ticket. The invoice ID column in our second dataset directly matches the case ID column in our first dataset. Perfect. Once we've nailed down that exact relationship, we just save both files as standard CSVs so they can easily talk to our next piece of software. Let's move right along to section 2 and see how this builds. Loading the datasets and bringing that data directly into Power Automate. Inside your Power Automate environment, bringing this data to life is super straightforward. You just navigate to Process Mining, click Start Here, and give your new process a logical name. Let's go with Merged Datasets. By selecting Import Data via Dataflow, you simply upload your first CSV, give it a quick preview to make sure it looks right, and then hit Get Data to bring the second one right alongside it. Just like that, both of your tables are sitting inside the system ready for action. Which brings us to the really critical phase, merging in Power Query and officially consolidating those tables. Here is our game plan for Power Query. We'll create a brand new merged query so we don't accidentally wreck our original tables. Then we'll define exactly how they link together, clean up the duplicate columns that naturally pop up during a merge, and finalize everything so the system only reads our fresh, unified dataset. Now, pay attention here because this is the absolute make or break moment, setting the joined kind. When you click Merge Queries as New, you'll select your first table as the left table and click your Case ID column. Then select the second table as the right table and click your Invoice ID column. The magic here is selecting a left outer join. Why? Because a left outer join guarantees we keep absolutely every single event log from our primary process table on the left, while perfectly attaching only the matching relevant attribute details from the table on the right. No lost steps, just perfectly enhanced data. During this step, the system will probably throw a scary little data privacy warning at you, acting like combining sources is some dangerous operation. Don't panic, just confidently click Continue. After that, you'll see your second table compressed into a single column.
You've got to click the expand icon on that column, but when you do, and this is key, make sure to clear the invoice ID checkbox. We already have the case ID from the first table. If we keep both, we're just going to have redundant columns with the exact same values, totally cluttering up our pristine model. To keep our workspace nice and organized, right-click your newly merged table and rename it to something clear, like merged_log_at. Now, by default, Power Query is going to try to load all 3 tables into your process model, but we only want our new merged masterpiece. So to prevent any clutter, right-click the 2 original tables and just turn off Enable Load. You'll know you did it perfectly because the names of those original tables will shift into an italic font, signaling that they are safely tucked away in the background. Finally, let's step into our last major phase, mapping for final analysis, where we align our attributes for the dashboard.
Okay, remember those strict essential fields we talked about at the very beginning of the explainer? Well, this is where they finally come into play. The system needs a translation to know exactly which column is which. So, we map our case ID column to the case ID attribute type. We map activity to the activity attribute type. And crucially, we map our timestamp column directly to the event start attribute type, making absolutely sure the data type is properly set to date/time.
Once those mandatory fields are locked in, we can map all our additional highly valuable text fields. We map resource to resource, but pay really close attention here. You must categorize something like resource name as an event-level attribute. Why? Because it can literally change with every single step. 3 different employees might touch the exact same invoice as it moves through the system. Meanwhile, fields like vendor, business unit, or region are mapped as case-level attributes because whether you're on step 1 or step 10, the vendor who originally sent the invoice never, ever changes. To finish off our mapping matrix, we absolutely cannot forget the numbers. We ensure our financial metrics, like cash discount value and invoice value, are mapped to the financial per case attribute type. And we strictly enforce that their data type is set to numeric. Setting these specifically to numeric is exactly what allows your dashboard to accurately calculate sums, find averages, and spot serious financial bottlenecks down the line. And that's it. After all that meticulous data wrangling, from text to columns to matching IDs, executing left outer joins, and performing all that precise attribute mapping, you just hit the Save and Analyze button down in the bottom right corner. You can now step back, grab a cup of coffee, and let the engine process your newly unified dataset. It usually just takes a few minutes to crunch the numbers. You have officially conquered data chaos. By transforming those unreadable files into a beautifully clean, merged, and properly mapped process model, you have set the perfect stage for deep analysis. So I will leave you with this final thought. Now that your data is finally speaking the exact same language, what surprising inefficiencies and hidden bottlenecks is your newly merged dashboard about to reveal?